We all rise for a pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Could the secretary perform a roll call attendance, please?
Here.
Mr. Ferretico?
Here.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Glorioso?
Here.
Mr. Leah?
Here.
Mr. Palmer?
Here. Okay.
One more. Went to the bathroom. There he is.
Where are we at? Oh.
Present.
Okay. All right. All the board members should have received the minutes from the May 18th meeting.
Make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Our first item on the agenda this evening is a discussion regarding site plan and special use permit for Subaru. Let's see. All right.
Good evening.
Hi.
I'll be here for the first 3 agenda items. My name is Danielle Stark. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
My name is Danielle Stark. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, but I'm here from Labella Associates, the engineer for the applicant. We're here to continue our application for the amended site plan special use permit approval. We submitted our response to comments and supplemental materials previously, and it's our understanding that a draft resolution has been made for this evening's agenda for your consideration.
Okay. All right. So I guess there's no concerns regarding the resolution as drafted?
No,
So-
no, we have no concerns with the conditions.
Okay, all right, and we have no amendments to this resolution as per earlier discussion, so basically this is just as simple as a vote this evening, so at this point I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution as drafted.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? See none, motion carries. Okay.
Great,
All right.
thank you. So I'm also here on
All right,
behalf of the next applicant.
which leads to our other application, which I'm assuming we're going to do simultaneously, which is the lot line realignment and the subdivision for Ober Creek.
Okay, again, I'm Danielle from Labella Associates here on behalf of the applicant, Alexander Reese, Ober Creek LP, for 2 agenda items, but really it's one action, a subdivision and a lot line realignment. So the lot line realignment is for tax lots 920, 813, and 914890, and the subdivision is for tax lot 855674 in the town of Wappinger.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, we'll start, I guess, with the realignment. Can you explain to us, I guess, the purpose of the realignment?
Sure. I think that we'd like to, do you want to come on up, Alex?
Hello, everyone. The reason is for this realignment is that there is a farm access road which runs right along the boundary of Ober Creek Farm and this lot. Eventually, the lot is owned by Ober Creek LP, which is myself and my brother and sister and this and the other, and we're eventually going to sell it. And I thought before that I'd like to move the access road onto my property so I don't have to have an easement or anything like that. I thought it was cleaner to do that.
Okay, all right. All right, seems pretty straightforward. Why don't we start, you received the letters from both the planner and the engineer regarding
Yes.
this application?
Yes, we're in receipt of them. We can definitely add the bulk table information. We've previously received DOH approval for the well and septic for the lot in question, and we would resubmit as required for that.
Okay. So when we run through, you want to go through the rest of the items you had, Malcolm?
Yeah, absolutely. I drew attention to the bulk table, but I believe that Christian's memo also pointed out a few items that are missing from the plat as required by subdivision. Thank you for the catch. I draw attention to the historic district, which doesn't pertain to this application necessarily, but just to draw attention to it, 24035 states that any additional physical alteration to structures on these sites would require architectural review approval from the planning board as they are in the historic district, the Wheeler Hill Historic District. And number 3 is secret questions. One question that I had for you about the subdivision. I may be remembering this wrong, but in a previous application, my understanding was that that lot was part of a future conservation district. I'm curious about that because if the subdivision cannot lead to any future development on those 2 lots, it it eliminates a lot of secret questions that we may have otherwise. So just curious for the applicant to address that. Just make sure that you speak into the mic.
Oh, I apologize. The lot that we're asking to be subdivided is obviously bifurcated by Wheeler Hill Road.
And the zoning district, yeah.
And one side is the apple orchard, and the other side has nothing, no active farming on it. And I just thought it made sense. The whole lot is subject to an easement owned by Dutchess Land Conservancy and will not allow for any residential building or anything like that on that property.
Perfect. Just any official information with respect to that, if you can send that to me, I will make sure that it is reflected that way in the resolution for posterity. That answers a number of the potential secret questions that we might have in creating an additional building lot.
So since it's in the historical district, he would have to follow the same rules that we kind of applied to this gentleman on the other side of Wheeler Hill?
Yeah, but they're also not planning to build on either the lots that are being created,
How do you know that?
because they just mentioned that it is in a conservation district.
So it's definitely going to be conservation, never will be built on, both lots?
It's the entire area except the farmstead area. Yeah, that's included in the Dutchess Land Conservancy.
The 2 subdivision lots are,
Will never be built.
they're subject to that conservation easement, and then the plat that they provided does reference that.
Cool.
That brings me to the end of my comment memo.
I would like to just add one thing. I'm not getting any younger, and eventually I hope someone's going to take over the apple orchard, and I thought it'd be easier.
If it's its own lot, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Did you have anything?
The only comment that we had was relative to the well and septic on the lot subject to the lot line realignment, and as you'd mentioned, Bruce, and it just mentioned now, that that lot was subject, it sounds like, to a prior DOH approval, so that even just providing that information on the plan would satisfy that comment, so
Okay.
we had nothing else.
So my recommendation, given the level of simplicity with the seeker action, would be an uncoordinated review so that we don't need to wait for a circulation of lead agency, but that is up to the board. Uncoordinated or coordinated review is something for you to consider. Additionally, there's the question of a public hearing, and whether or not you would like to schedule that or waive that. And then my comments are relatively minor. If you wanted to look as far ahead, depending on the answers to those first 2, as to authorization to draft a resolution, nothing in my comment memo cannot be a condition of approval.
Okay. All right, what's everybody's feeling on this one? Well, first we have to schedule for a public hearing. I guess that's the
Or-
bigger
yeah.
concern at this point, to move forward. And what the review process in terms of seeker, how we want to handle it. So we want to do this as recommended as an uncoordinated review. and
Absolutely.
Worry about our own stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so, all right. So if everybody's in favor of an uncoordinated review, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right. In terms of public hearing, how soon would you be ready for a public hearing?
Do we need a public hearing?
Well, subdivision, correct?
I mean, isn't this a lot line?
Well, there's two applications.
Subdivision
We have a
and a lot
subdivision
line.
application, and then we have a lot line realignment. The lot line realignment we wouldn't need because, again, that's just between the two property owners that are exchanging land, but the subdivision, I believe, would require requires a public hearing,
Is it not?
even though it is the same owner, but it still has to be, yeah.
I know for a site plan.
I don't think there was
I think that this came up recently, and yeah,
I think I think regardless, I think a subdivision always has to be.
has to have one.
Has to have a public hearing,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
So we'll have to go that route. So with that, what would be the recommended, what would be,
Will we be ready for June 15th or July 20th?
I think the 15th should be fine, given the short comments
Yeah.
that we've received, so not a lot
June
of
15th?
comments. Is that enough
Okay.
time to notify and everything? Okay,
As long as they don't have to make comments.
okay, okay.
No problem for us.
Okay.
So,
okay, all right. Okay, so entertain a motion to schedule a public hearing for June the 15th.
Did you hear that?
Okay, motion's made and seconded.
Closed.
All in favor? Aye.
Will secret be closed by then?
Well, we need to, yeah. So they've just pointed out, before we can move to a public hearing for the subdivision,
Like that.
we need to conclude the seeker process. So I can, if you were in favor of me drafting a resolution for a negative
Negative
declaration,
declaration.
I can have it for that meeting. You can vote on it prior. You can look at it and
Vote on
consider
neg
it.
deck prior to opening a public hearing.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's in favor of doing that?
Yes.
Okay. So then that'll be the route we take.
Okay.
That's all right. I got distracted. I apologize. Seventh
To authorize that
To
resolution.
authorize, oh yeah, sorry, let me back up. So entertain a motion to authorize the planner to draft a negative declaration.
I'll move that.
For this project.
Second.
Okay, motion's made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, seeing none, motion carries. So we'll have the planner draft a neg deck for that meeting, for the, what was that, July 15th.
July, or is it June? It's June 15th.
Sorry, June 15th.
Man, you okay?
They both begin with J.
Both 4 letters, too.
Okay. All right, perfect.
Okay,
All right.
all set?
So I
Thank
think
you
we're
very
all
much.
set.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Quicker than. Creek is good. Okay, our next item on the agenda this evening is Flynn subdivision. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Jay Samuelson, Engineering Properties, here representing the Flynns. This is a two-lot subdivision located at 340 River Road. We were here actually in 2019 and subdivided off a lot on the south end of this property. At this point in time, the Flynn's have decided to subdivide off a lot on the north end of the property. So it is a simple 2-lot subdivision, creating one new residential lot, 1 acre in size. The only other change would be the driveway for the existing house will be relocated so that it's not shared with the new lot. So we will be creating a new driveway for the existing house that is there. So we're creating one new lot to the north and maintaining the existing lot. And I do need to apologize. I was out of the office the day the submission was made, and our staff omitted the realty subdivision sheet, which was sheet 1 of the set. I apologize for that, but we do have that done, and I will make sure that that is included in the next submission.
Okay. All right. You did receive the comments from both the planner and engineer?
I got the ones from the engineer, but not the planner.
You didn't get the planners, okay. All right. Not that there was a lot on there.
It's not extensive, I can go through it.
You want
I mean,
to
we should
go
get you a
through them real quick, Malcolm?
Yeah.
The-
So as was pointed out in the engineering comments, there are a few items missing pertaining to subdivision regulations. Chapter 217, sounds like they're probably all on the first sheet, and the next time we take a look at this, they will all be there.
Yes, I apologize.
There are a number of seeker items that got flagged in the EAF. I would appreciate, I think that largely they will be administrative, maybe a phone call or an email, but if you can put together an extended narrative that sort of checks these boxes for us to make the seeker process a little bit easier. The biggest one is the historic status. So the SHPO is still listing this property as home to a historic structure. My understanding is that that was demolished in 2019 as a part of a subdivision application before this board.
Correct.
So some correspondence from SHPO clarifying this, possibly taking this off of their online mapper, would be a win.
Yeah, I believe the original was where there was a sign to be installed noting that the original location of that house, which is, to my knowledge, done, but I can get copies of those letters from the original application and resubmit those.
Do you know if that sign was ever installed, or is that still?
It is not shown on your current survey, but it is shown on the previous subdivision plat along with the
That it was
required
supposed to be
wording.
done, not quite sure if it was ever done
So
or
we
not.
would need clarification that it is done, sir, and if it is not, it needs to be replaced and should be shown on any subdivision plat or survey.
Yeah. And if it hasn't been put in, we can talk about the language on it, because I
know we went through the language on it last time.
Yeah.
During the last subdivision, but I'll make sure that we confirm that it's either there or make sure that it gets done this time.
Yes, yeah, let us know. Other than that, I mean, you know, for the planning board, there are a number of agencies involved. This is a slightly more complicated seeker application. Now would be the time to discuss whether or not you would like to pursue a coordinated or uncoordinated review. If you'd like to look at a coordinated review, we should circulate for lead agency.
So who else is involved?
There are DEC pings on the EAF, there's SHPO pings, although that may be clarified as a part of this. There is
Health Department.
Health Department,
Yeah, there's a lot on this.
archaeology, but I think that would still be SHPO, and remediation site, which would still be DEC.
Right.
It's just DEC and SHPO on more than one item apiece.
Right, and we went through the same. I have all the correspondence from DOH, or from DEC and CHPO on those. I can get you all those. The only one I believe would be DOH for the new septic.
Yeah, and then there's also, I mean, I don't want to cut John off, but he will talk about the need for a SWIP, and which would relate to archaeological sensitivities, remediation elements, endangered species, et cetera. It's just a little bit more going on than some of the other applications that we get. That doesn't mean that we have to do a coordinated review, it's just an argument in favor.
Right. But obviously, they'd have to address all the issues with those agencies prior to.
Yeah.
getting a final approval. Okay. How does everybody want to address this one, just before we go any further? With all these items, do we want to do an uncoordinated review or a coordinated review?
Coordinated, I think, right?
Okay. All right. All right, so those in favor of doing a coordinated review, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye, all right, so that'll be the approach we take, and then I'll turn the floor over to Mr. Andrews, and we'll go through his.
Good evening. Everybody's stealing my thunder tonight, which is fine with me. The applicant has acknowledged that they're missing a subdivision plat, so once that comes, a lot of my issue with the missing information should go away. They will need Dutchess County Department of Health approval for the water supply and the wastewater facilities for the new lot. And then your disturbance is listed as 0.96 acres. It's under 1. However, my experience is anything above 0.95 is considered 1 acre. That is also my understanding, the town of Wappinger custom and practice. So we're going to need a simple SWIP, erosion sediment control only. I don't need a fancy Bible. If you wish to put it on your drawings, so long as you hit all the necessary elements and include that on in your plan set, I believe we can accept that as.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, it's up to you.
Yep, no, I understand.
Your standard custom and practices. The erosion control plan needs to be expanded. Obviously, now that you're going to do the SWIP, it's going to get expanded anyway. The driveway profiles, they're missing one of the grades right adjacent to River Road. It's not shown on the plan.
Okay, I'll check it.
And you have to make sure, because the town has a standard, I think it cannot exceed 5% within so many feet.
Yes.
So it's unclear on the drawing. And then where driveway number 1 matches, it's not quite clear on the profile. It's clear on the plan, but you need to clarify that on the profile. And then a note, the driveways will need to be paved for their entire length, because they're all generally in
10%, yes.
in excess of 6%. And then, as the planner indicated, that makes question number 12, with regards to historic and archaeological resources, that needs to be addressed for a SWIP anyway. So it's kind of a belt and suspenders approach. And with that, I think everything should be satisfied. I did want to say, and while you folks were in your advice of counsel session, I was able to pull up the old subdivision plat, and there was a historic sign, actually a condition on the plans, and a location identified. So you weren't imagining it. It was actually part of that subdivision. So, and that's why it needs to be shown now, and we need to make sure it's up.
Right, cool. It should be on there going forward for anything else.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Any of the board members have any questions for the applicant? No. Okay. All right. Do we? Okay. We do have to vote on circulation for lead agency then. So I entertain a motion to circulate or have staff circulate for lead agency.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion's made, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. I guess other than that, I think we're all set on this application. I think unless you have any other
Nope,
further
I
questions
believe that's
for us
all we
this
can do
evening?
tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a good night.
evening yourself.
Thank you.
Okay.
Always a pleasure. Let me know how you make it. Yeah, exactly. Think positive.
Okay.
You and me both.
All right. So our next item on the agenda is actually just other business. It's not a discussion.
For me in LaGrange.
This item is, I guess the applicant is coming in looking for referral to the town board. So, guys, before you much hold off, I don't think we're not looking at the subdivision. We're not reviewing this. Basically, it seems that from what we're looking at, there's looking for some type of a hardship exemption here, the referral to the town board. And I believe that we're, with the board and staff, we're going to have a discussion. So I don't think we're going to have any real presentation at this point. Again, the current moratorium precludes us from reviewing the application as well. so.
Sure, yeah. I was just going to give a little history of our role in this project at this point, but I'll
Yeah.
defer to you at this point.
I mean, with the discussion we're going to have, I don't think that there's really much that we can
Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about
discuss. I mean,
specifics about the project,
put
but
this, let our attorney speak, and
So-
I guess we'll go forward.
We received a referral from the town board in compliance with local law number 9, based upon an application that was received from Cuddy and Fetter dated May 19th, 26, seeking a hardship waiver. And so at this point, as I previously advised the board, given the moratorium that's in effect, the board is powerless, without authority, to consider, review, discuss any of the proposed, the particulars of the proposed project. To the extent there is a discussion this evening, it's to provide direction for council on how to report back to the town board so that the planning board fulfills its obligation as an advisory, in the advisory role of whether or not to grant a hardship waiver request. Ultimately, it's decided by the town board, but by their code, they require a referral, or they require a referral here, and for us to give them an advisory opinion. One of the elements, the first element, is whether or not there is a unique hardship particular to this particular applicant. There's a couple of elements that have to be discussed. One of them is whether or not there's some sort of a unique hardship in this case. So as we move through these, I would invite the board to discuss what...
Just before you get started,
Yeah.
you might want to correct the agenda before you get started.
Thanks, you're absolutely right. So in the request that we provided, basically what the council has advised us is the hardship is that the applicant paid a $4,300 application fee and submitted a $10,000 escrow fee, and also has incurred unspecified additional costs with the land design in preparation of the plat. And so that's what we have before us in terms of what the argument is pertaining to unique hardship. At least that's what's been provided to me by the town board. And before we get into that, my colleague here kindly reminded me that I just want to make something clear. There's the agenda does say to discuss a subdivision application, but that's not accurate. That's just simply a holdover from the prior, I believe what probably went on the prior agenda, because obviously, as I've now said at least 3 times, we can't discuss the subdivision application. So, but it is correct that we're on the agenda to have this discussion as it pertains to the waiver. So it should read, to correct it, it should just simply read to discuss hardship waiver or referral from town board. So that's what's been provided to us in terms of the hardship, whether or not this planning board finds that is unique to this particular application, and to the specific owners, to each of the owners. That's required to be shown as well.
Okay. Well, I believe there's only one owner here in this case, correct?
I think there might be 2. I think there's both are, let me see if I may. It is, bear with me 1 second. I think there's 2, I think both Chrismans are each.
Are listed on the property.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I wasn't sure. Okay. So I guess what's the board's feeling, I guess, attorney's gone through with the different items here, hardship. Do we feel that there's a case here for hardship and refer this to the town board at this point in time? That's everybody's feeling.
Well, I haven't heard anything. To me,
Anything?
it sounds like a unique hardship with this application. I mean, as you pointed out, there's the application fee and the filing fee,
Yeah.
and that's it. And that's, there hasn't been any other evidence presented to go beyond that.
It's nothing that we have for this, so.
Mr. Chair, if I can, then I'd like to at least talk about the history of this project a little bit more, because that factors in.
We have no history of the project.
Well,
Because it's
he
been
has a
just
history of
submitted.
the project for several years.
That had nothing to do with the planning board.
But it does have to do with that financial hardship on his part, because we've been working on this project for him since 2021.
I think that I'd like to go off of the advice of our attorney and
I
not
mean,
discuss
see,
this at all.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that this is, here's the issue. I mean, the issue is, that's not what we were, see, we can only go by what was provided to us by the town board as part of the hardship waiver request application. And that's not in here. I mean, so, I mean, there's the only, it's very, regrettably, it's actually rather sparse. There's nothing else in here beyond the fact that there were the fees that were paid. And the problem with that is, and I'm not trying to, you know, I mean, here, the good news is this. Really, it's the town board that makes this decision. So if you believe there's going to be something additional that you want to eventually provide the town board, and how that town board wants to receive that information, I certainly, and this board's not going to stand in anybody's way. But at least as it pertains to what we've got in front of us, it only really discusses the fees that were paid and some unspecified costs. And the problem with that is that's not really unique, because under that theory, every applicant who filed during the course of the moratorium could claim hardship by paying these fees. And I'm not suggesting maybe there aren't other items or other matters. And you know, like I said, you can certainly avail yourself to whatever opportunities are given you to present that to the town board. But we have to be very careful here with where we are now, because with the moratorium in place, there's really very limited jurisdiction that the planning board has in terms of authority to get into the specifics of the project or necessarily the history of it or anything of that nature. So, you know, I mean, that's the issue, and I know it's frustrating, but unfortunately, that's what we've been provided with in the letter and the materials that have been provided to us, is just what's in this letter. I mean, the other item is whether or not the application would, you know, be in compliance with the 25 amendment of the comprehensive plan. And obviously, there's headwinds there, not addressed in the letter regarding that, because the 25 comprehensive plan, as I recall, is actually looking to reduce the density of this area. It requires analysis pertaining to infrastructure. Also, it requires a conventional yield analysis that now is going to be playing a part. And obviously, as we know, which is specified in the letter, the town board is intending to reduce the density of the area from going from the R40 to the R80. And so that really needs to get, you know, that's not addressed also with the waiver request that we've been provided. So I think the planning board's going to be running into that issue as well. And as you gentlemen probably know, you're going to, you know, in terms of general welfare of the community and the intentions, there's obviously some environmental issues you're going to be running into as well. That's going to require a thorough analysis. You've got steep slopes out there. You got wetlands. So that's going to obviously also play into the yield analysis eventually that you're going to have to do. So, I mean, in terms of what we have in front of us, I mean, I think we can only go off of what's been provided to us in terms of the correspondence from council, and I leave that to the planning board on how they want to move forward with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like the only decision we can make tonight is whether or not we agree that there is a hardship, and then make that referral, to the town board.
Correct.
Or we just say our finding is there is no hardship. At the current time, there's no hardship, and then it would be up to the applicant then to approach the town board to see if they want to be heard by the town
And
board.
it's certainly within the town board's, that would be within the town board's purview to entertain whatever they need to entertain or not. I mean, but that's, I would agree with you, Mr. Chair. That's really where we're at this point in time.
I mean, we're kind of stuck in the middle. We're stuck in the middle of their application, which the moratorium, precludes us from reviewing, and at the same time, we're aware that within the moratorium, there states that they're going to increase the zoning from, R20 to R80. So the applicant, what was proposed to us at the last meeting doesn't meet the R80 requirement, so there's really no discussion to be had at that point either. So it's up to what's the rest of the board feel? Do they want to be in discussion, or any questions we need to ask here, or are we ready to make a decision?
Yeah, I think they need to get a little more detailed on describing their hardship. Because like you said, what they provided, I'm sure there's more to it than that, but it should have been listed there for sure. That's about where I sit.
I mean, my view is based on the information that's been provided. We're not in a position to say there's a hardship. I feel comfortable recommending no hardship based on the information that's been presented to us in the letter. So that's my view.
Are we allowed to comment at all?
There's no, I mean, we're not taking any comment. Again, it was just for discussion with the board, and so all we're here to is discuss the hardship itself.
But last meeting, when I was here, I asked if we could go to the town board for this, and I was told that's not the process. And then it seems like the town board is making a recommendation to you to discuss.
Looking for our.
We don't have there's no information that was given to us about a hardship. So there's nothing that we can do from the paper that was given to us to even make that determination.
I understand. And from our position, we tried to make this application. If the state filing date, and maybe Kyle, you can comment, is the state filing date the date when the moratorium is effective?
I don't know when the...
it was May 26th. On May 18th.
Then the moratorium is then the answer to that question, and I'm not going to get into a back and forth. I just respectfully, I'm just not going to. Then the moratorium is in effect. If the law's in effect, the moratorium's in effect, and it's in effect as of now. And it doesn't matter
the filing date.
Filing doesn't matter when the application was filed, even if it was during a gap between the moratorium.
But we tried to submit our application over the past years and were denied, and there wasn't a moratorium.
All I would recommend, to the extent I can make a recommendation, that you bring that to the attention of the town board. They're the only ones that can give you what you're looking for.
But for us to get there, we need this board to say, go in front of the town board. And that's all we're looking for at this point. And even though we do feel last meeting, there was no moratorium. We should have been heard. And I think in Alex's letter, he said, look, I was better off financially before you took the money, and that's one aspect of it, because we've been sitting here trying for years, and we made our application, I paid for it, so to me, that is a hardship. I would have been better off, I could put the money somewhere else. So to me, that's 100% a financial hardship on top of all the...
would have a hardship then if they...
But if we were on the agenda, though...
If they filed for it when the moratorium wasn't there.
But they weren't taking applications. They took mine and took the money.
That's okay. So I'm going to shut this down. That's make the legal argument. I can only tell you, make the legal argument to the town board. It's the planning board is here to decide whether or not what's been presented to it will satisfy the hardship waiver request. Candidly, my legal advice is it doesn't, and it just doesn't. I mean, and it falls short. The board. That's obviously the board's decision as to what to do, but it just falls short. in terms of whether or not it should have applied or not applied, it doesn't apply and could,
Yeah.
that's not, this board doesn't make that decision. They just don't. And I mean, and there's no amount of discussion can change the law.
So all the money that went into the design, all the things we did, and then that money I just paid, it sits there till whenever? I mean, that doesn't sound fair.
Well,
That's fair.
you need this, that's something you need to discuss with your attorney.
So we're going to send another
I
letter
don't know,
saying...
we don't, again, we had the first that we knew of this application was recently. The first that the board was physically presented with an application was recently.
Well, that's when it was
Right, so.
accepted, I guess.
Right, so you applied during a lapse in the moratorium, and then the moratorium was reenacted, or renewed, for another period of time, and doing that stops us, from reviewing the application. The town board is working on zoning changes. So we're kind of, stuck. But I don't know if you were aware or not, that was what was going on. The town board put a moratorium in place about 2 years ago, and this is where we are today, and they haven't finalized their decisions on the zoning changes.
So we need to get to the town board, it sounds like.
They're going to be the only ones that can resolve the issue for you at this point. So with that, at this point, I mean, what's the board's feeling going forward here? Do we make a recommendation to the town board there's a hardship, or do we just convey to the town board that there is no hardship and that'd be up to...
There's no hardship. I don't see a hardship.
Okay. All right. So entertaining a motion to have the attorney draft a letter to town board stating that we did not find a hardship for this application, and it would be on the applicant to then petition the town board on their own. Entertain a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? See none, motion carries. Okay. All right. We're done with, since there's no other items on the agenda this evening, I will entertain, unless somebody has anything else they want to bring up, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion's made, seconded, all in favor? Aye. Aye.